Hello? Hello? Oh, I need to check my sound. Hello? Oh, I need to check. Yep, I'm listenable. If that's an expression that we can use. Anyway, so I decided to have a bit of fun tonight. Hey, Shan, it's you. So now that I think about it, to you it wouldn't be late at night. I don't know what time it is for you. For me, it's almost 12 a.m. midnight. But I don't know, I had a bit more energy than usual. It may be because of this. I got a nice coffee. I like it. I want to keep going with this. So I could do the usual and give a summary of last time. But I think that you have to watch it because it got emotional, dear lord. It got so emotional last time. I think that it actually teared up a little bit at the end. I don't know. Seeing that Ben 6 has an issue with trusting people hurts. Because I can't understand that feeling sometimes. But yeah, at the very least, I think that we should actually keep going because, to be honest, this is not going to finish if I keep procrastinating like usual, so how about we keep going, shall we? So now we're going into court. Oh. Performance window, just in case. There it is. Yeah, it is a strong issue with him. There's a lot of people that I know that have trouble trusting others. And I know that I did the voice acting, but the way that it was written and the way that it was shown with his animations clearly shows that it is deeply painful for him. So, yeah. Trusting others is very hard for some people. Maybe I should move the camera just a little bit down. Wait. There it is. I actually got it worse. Sorry. There it is. I did this test. Why did I not trust myself on the... Oh, there it is. Trust. Ow. Anyway. So, first day in court. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. I actually just said it, and it was this time not me, but actually the game itself. Oh! It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh, my! I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected. That actually is a good play of words. I'm gonna take it for that one. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A closed court. Oh, come on! I like the summation examination system. I hope that I get a jury. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes! Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Eructo? Another victory for science, you must agree. So what, it's back to normal? To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Huh. What to me, to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. Oh my god, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. I love this idiot. This is the guy for which I have it will be over there. Yeah, that icon over there, because I love this guy and Ryonosuke. That's why my avatar has this hat. It's on the other corner of this, but you can see it over there. It's very far though. Oh my god. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. God. Oh dear. How awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Ripper. I'm delightful to see you looking so pimp. And I see London, celebrated great detective, is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Ripper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes? Ooh, I'm flattered. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great man. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Ripper. Okay, I'm gonna guess that it's sorry to barge in. Oh, it's not. Gina? What's that on her arm? It's a morning band, I suppose? Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed. I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see your country's up-and-coming student in action. I just remember why I prefer to use these ones on my Switch. When I used to use these ones on the Switch, I could do the poses and press the buttons on my wherever they were, so I don't have to use the mouse for this. But I guess that it's one thing for another. Yeah. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of... Yeah, that's the camera. The fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Ryonosuke, you should trust yourself more. I like that I have not been dropping frames. Especially because I actually raised the quality of the stream a little bit. I wonder if it's showing here. Yeah, it is showing here. As a 1080p source. I wonder. Yeah, I didn't have the options. I'm happy because I know that some of my friends don't have the options to have different qualities to show to people. So I like the fact that I can allow people to watch it in different qualities in case their internet doesn't suffer a bit or not. And I can also upload it to YouTube in HD now. So, as I was saying, Otto. Oh, yes, Gina? But you have to agree to this, huh? What do you think I'm on? This Ripper bloke. Ever says this, it was him would kill the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that, Jet. You know, it's kind of unfair for Gina to act like this when she was the subject of another case in which she was the only suspect. I don't care who call him what. The Ripper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him who would kill the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes. I have to say, with Gregson being the victim in this case, I don't feel like any character is safe anymore. Oh god, it's just like when Danganronpa killed the main... I shouldn't say anything in case you haven't played Danganronpa now I think about it. I mean, after all, I got spoiled myself on something the other day when watching a stream of somebody else's while playing another game, and it felt Very bad. I decided to stop watching them until I finish this game. Fiery eyes, indeed. Yes, the gold. Yeah, sorry, Shen. I don't want to spoil you. Although the way that you wrote it makes me think that you got hurt by Danganronpa. The culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, oh no! Whoever did this? The boss! Oh, Gina! God damn it, I hate this! I'm feeling this useless, or there's nothing I can do. So you've gotta find who done this and make the rich pay! Oh yeah, I get it. That's actually the reason why I don't play them myself, because it kinda hurts to know that characters in that game are gonna die and you're gonna fall in love with them before that happens. But the mysteries are good. I still like that courtroom drama though. I just don't like the fact that the characters that are gonna be the victims are the characters that you keep having the whole game through. So yeah, I get your feeling. Also, they're teenagers, so it's kinda odd to see teens getting killed. Yeah, that's not cool. But it's a good mystery series.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please.
Alright. We go then. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lorben 6? The one who lost his treasured brothers to a mass murder. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign country of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. Oh boy! There's been a lot of losses here. All that misfortune, all that pain, and course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. You know, maybe this game is the reason why I hate being lied to. This game taught me to appreciate the truth no matter what. Boy! Asuma! Now that's some quoting.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant, Baroque 6. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. Never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. I wonder if my descendant is eventually going to have to go through this, being so madly in love with the prosecution on the other side. Maybe he's gonna also wear a cravat and be dressed in red. I don't know. It's kinda weird. Anyway, I should have those. I have to push those thoughts out of my head right now. Yeah.
The so-called Ripper of the Valley has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind the scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truth reveals that by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions for the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present. At Her Majesty's direct orders.
How will that work, my lord? Wait. I know that it's a setting and they didn't have the time to just make a different background, but I just saw people behind Rionalski.
The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
Yeah, over there at the... well, actually, here, there's people here! What's going on here? If no members of the public are present, my lord, may I ask who is occupying the gallery, my... Why did I read that before saying stuff? If no members of the public are present, may I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceeding and ensure an equitable trial.
So, essentially witnesses. Members of the judiciary? Oh my! This is a very unusual trial already.
There is of course another unprecedented aspect to this proceeding in which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain.
Mosquito. Oh boy.
Of Great Britain.
So, we're bringing this up again, aren't we? I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Azuma?
Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Rhapsody, your also opening statement if you please.
Ooh! Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Hector Tobias Gregson, a name I know very well indeed to this court.
Imagine this! It's almost as if the victim was freaking Gumshoe. Well, no, actually I love Gumshoe much more than Gregson. Moving on!
Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimest cases 10 years ago.
The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. He had a hat? I guess it's cool. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How was the range being determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry one. Oh, classic one. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch mark is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, counsel.
The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama. We're not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I explained, whoa! Ouch! I did not expect that. As I explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabra mounted on the wall. And the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown out by the projectile. It's also looking like it's scorched. So I wonder if it was close enough to the candle as it was close enough to Gregson.
noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me now. I will submit the plan of the crimes in as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord.
Is this Brandon Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to Mr. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone, whatever it is. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair.
So what on earth was Gregson even doing there?
Presumably he was investigating some case or other.
When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
A name, please, Counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself.
Whoa! Lord Van Six?
As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken. Will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand.
That is very unusual. I have seen 4 cases that do that. Maybe tops. Phoenix himself was a witness. Ron Delight was a witness like that. As a first witness, I mean. That is very scary. I mean, Larry was the first witness, but no surprises there. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
Baruch Van Six, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Six, that you heard Prosecutor Asuki opening presses.
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. And I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place.
I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Six, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come, since you became known as the Reaper. A part of me has been dreading it.
That does make sense. He got the fame. At some point he was gonna be a question about this.
Your formal testimony then, witness.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries has led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard a gunshot, spun around, and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open, and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. The testimony was the whole truth.
Really?
That's scary as heck.
It was.
So you hear a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants, and moments later a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes? Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse.
I thought you were my mute apprentice.
Yet it turns out you have a way with words.
Prosecutor Asuki. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't the word. It's laughable.
Whoa. What's going to Chasm?
He's not behaving like himself at all. That could have actually come from me. I actually detected that. That is shocked as well.
Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Whoa, that art. Oh, I can do it with keys. Hold it! You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say
Sorry?
I'd identified a distinctive possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed.
It's a court to understand. Then, that on the day of question, you followed the victim to the scene.
No, I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the jar and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that would constitute a very serious offense.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Six?
I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refused to tell the court why? I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge on their own.
Why did I ever think I could defend this man? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. Okay, so how dark are we talking about here? Hold it! Had you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigation into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
But at 5 p.m. the sun would only just have gone down. It was still having reasonably light outside. Got it! Mosquito out!
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way to the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling. There was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though. I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, okay, that makes sense. I've just realized the direction the door opens into. That's gonna be important. There's a small desk in the room here, just here. Oh yes, I remember! And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as a framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
What was the picture again? Ah, of course, Mr. Spiegel. And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Really?
A moment later, I heard the gunshot and spun around and I saw the revolver on the floor.
So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you said it was very dark in there.
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is that I didn't sense another presence.
Oh, I'm actually recording. I was scared from him.
Ha! Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question.
Oh!
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
This is going from bad to worse.
And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct, and I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part.
Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. I forgot about this. But then, where is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
I think that the problem, Shan, is that he moved it from its place. So, in a way, he didn't know, but I guess that it modified the crime scene a bit. That has been a point of contention at times. That's why it's important that he shouldn't have picked the gun, even if he had gloves. Besides, they don't know anything about fingerprints in this. Well, they know. They're just not used to using it as proof of evidence yet, according to the last game.
Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard the man scream.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume?
That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot.
Can we question them?
And with a thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened.
Yes. Tina told us about that yesterday, didn't it?
They burst through the door with some force, it would seem.
They did.
It almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper! The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the thing falling to the ground just before him?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more.
Ah, I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson.
Most curious circumstances indeed.
How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere.
I'm wondering something, but I don't think it might be correct. Let me see the... No, it's too far. I was thinking that maybe he was thrown by the door or something and he didn't notice because he was like... It opens from left side to the right, but no, that will be too much.
I have no idea.
Objection!
Whoa! I don't remember Kazuma's objection to sounding this way.
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused Baroque Band 6 is lying on multiple fronts.
What? What is that supposed to mean?
Good gracious, counsel! The defendant is lying, you say?
In his testimony just now.
Whoa! What the heck? This is a theme worthy of the Von Karmas. Not of Kazuma, what the heck?
In his testimony just now. Oh my god, there's the leitmotif!
Wow. This is scary.
He claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible! As proven by this candelabrum.
How does this prove anything?
If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victims and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly at different lengths.
Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together.
I was actually thinking the same. Is it that weird to just, I don't know, in a candelabrum, be turning off one candle at a time so that they last you more? Like, I seem to remember that scene in the Avatar where they have like certain amount of torches and the girl decides to foolishly turn them all together because she thinks that it's going to last them 4 times as long just because they're all turned on once. So I would only turn one of the candles at once in a candelabrum, but I don't know, I have never dealt with a candelabrum.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others.
That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the other ones were still burning.
That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burned. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accuser's claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts.
There's multiple reasons that it could have been like this, my boy.
And now to the next lie.
There's more?
The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before.
That's the truth.
In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too.
It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago.
10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar.
And there's a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Are they all of his cases?
Indeed. What is this common thread, Counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Parapan 6.
That smug look is not from Kazuma. It cannot be. All of them?
And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good lord. Okay, now that's scary.
Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
I don't like where this is going.
This thing is just making me pop.
Oh no! In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
The Reaper's hideout? Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. They're operating on the assumption that Band 6 is indeed the Reaper. But we know that that's not the case. So, well, we suspect that it's not the case. I don't like that we actually had that question.
And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the band's secret hideout, he was killed. And I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand.
What? You're making way too many assumptions, Kazuma.
Order! 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 Very well, I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Baroque Pine 6 is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asoki's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibited a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Kazuma's done a brilliant job as ever.
Even if it's full of assumptions.
He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case. And it's formidable.
Oh! Now I get where this is coming from. I'm fighting an ace attorney lawyer. That's why his argument feels like when I was playing against the last case of Ace Attorney 6. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it like that.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember.
Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. New voices! Let's see what I can do with this.
Very well. Let the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord.
I like that you keep your porte as always. That's Beppo! Why is Beppo here? I did not expect to see Beppo again. I'm not gonna lie.
So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
How am I going to voice this guy?
Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. I mean, that makes sense because I'm pushing our lips forward, but kinda weird. This is gonna hurt after a bit.
We're just free and easy. Say what we like. Live where we wanna live. I don't think that you wanna call yourself easy girl, but that's not my problem.
I gave them all a back and stared as they walked out from Fresno. A speed of forcing to burst for them.
Beppo, were you fired? Of course you were fired. Of course you were fired.
Oh, would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passersby, you know.
Jaunty little tidbits.
But an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right out your get up, that is. 6 pennies a price and not a penny less.
Whoa, that's expensive. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now?
Come on, sir. Don't tell me they're not interested.
Try the man.
Give him the money and see what it is.
Bear their mind, counsel.
Come on! The money! Alright. 6 pence it is.
You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on?
That hurts.
Just between us, and a young couple on Slide Street have just had twins.
Oh my god! It's like going to those NPCs that tell you what to do next in RPGs. Is that it? Can I have my money back?
No, that's not it. It's gossip, ain't it? It wants to spread, but it spits out to you and your mouth, of course.
Dude, if you're gonna gossip, tell me the whole story, not just the seed of a rumor. This is not freaking Persona.
I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence apiece it is, if you're curious.
Oh god. Yep, it is like talking to those NPCs in RPGs. I am curious, Jess. But what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours? Namely the initial bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. Oh, whoa! Were you strangled? What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Benius. That's what everyone calls me. Bunny, ain't it? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. Oh my god, a bad girl after someone's heart. Not mine though. Oh my god! 6 pence a pop, what'd you say? Okay, that took all out already. Oh! You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah! Second cheers can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Do you have anything bigger than that? You know, something that can sound like, you know, a gunshot? Especially when I tell them if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What'd you say then, huh? Wanna borrow with 6 pence a pop for a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow out the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Oh my god! Give her the money and see if she's right. No!
Be the woman, counsel.
Oh, alright, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus is special. Only 615 pence. Don't bring that into the courtroom, please! 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? Before that... I still don't know how to move this correctly, but let me see what I can do. Oh, there it is. Have you had an idea, Mr. Arujodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. A gunshot! Shall we find out? What? But you think you blow the... I knew it. Alright! That was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Arujodo. It sounded almost exactly like... It goes off like a gunshot, I knew it! This was very obvious, to be quite honest. I am the thinker, me. Think all sorts of thoughts, and daring. Therefore I am. Therefore I think. Beppo, come on. You're so pathetic, because I stand there on the street, watching the world go on about me. They call me the observator. You're Beppo.
Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls the sandwich, and you know it.
So, You don't actually sell anything. Problem. It's a problem, all as they say. I give it my best too, and I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything. No, come to think about it. Pity. No more purchases today, please.
Well, I'm quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they were very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime.
The last time that I remember somebody running out after a gunshot, it was Beppo. No, after a crime. It was Beppo in the heart case.
Well, that will be good, I thought, just between us.
Hey, Mr. Miller, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
What I think is if all what we see is light and shadow, but with your eyes, is anything for real?
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. We will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
Here we go. Doing this face is funny.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish with it, everything from the moment they went in the building.
It was less than a minute after Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
It was your... yeah.
Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what happened.
I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
I was scared half to death, me. So I ran off to find a copper.
It was a guy. It was a guy who ran. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, what did they see going inside the building?
Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Baroque 6.
I've seen pictures of the Dripper and the Pepper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, false loud stories like this, I've made myself a daddy some already.
But wait! The room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it.
All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
And they would still be very good for... God, I forgot the name of the bookkeeper.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased.
And we know the leaseholders' names, don't we? It's Capone.
The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No! Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony. Somehow. Here we go. We saw the whole thing from start to finish with it, everything from the moment they went into the building. When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Ben 6?
I suppose so. The rest of us wouldn't know the names of the high and mighty. I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure, it's everything.
Just behind Inspector Gregson? Did they arrive at the scene at the same time as each other?
No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot.
What happened to your neck? I'm scared. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that?
I'm sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I have forgotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it?
His hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks even.
Gregson doesn't have red hair, but there's the wig.
The fiery red bob still burned on the inside of my eyelids, that is.
Wait a minute, you're saying the man was a redhead?
Yeah, weren't you listening, chum? Hey, he was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well.
But Inspector Gregson hair isn't red, not by any stretch of the imagination.
It seems likely the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but someone other through Patty.
No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct.
What?
Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene.
Wait! They had a picture of the wig on Gregson? Also, it doesn't feel right to this picture.
Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right.
And a red hairpins?
Oh!
Of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece though.
So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say.
Maybe the killer had it on him, and after killing him, put it on him in order to make it so that only 2 people arrived, and Gregson was inside from the start.
The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
I love this. That one became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying, which reminds me, I haven't seen the full picture. I don't want to see this. I want to see if there's something else. Nothing at all. Just literally just... Wait a minute.
Are his hands tied?
That looks like the belt is around both of his hands, not like... It feels like it's just one. I know what you mean, Shen. I cannot believe it. I mean, he is... For God's sake, he's the detective of the game. I had never imagined that he would be one of the victims. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying?
I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene.
Wait, that's a contradiction then, right there, right then. So just disappeared?
What do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you?
We definitely saw him and the dog going in, though. No question about that. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone.
He's dead if I'm going even more hard. Yeah, I know, that's why I'm saying it. I would never be able to face it if either Gumshoe or Emma would bite the bullet at some point. Well, sorry, kick the bucket at some point. That would be very sad. I love those characters. There was I don't know if you remember this time, but before we knew that Gumshoe was alive in the 6th game because of one throwaway line by Miles Edgeworth, a lot of people were scared that he had died in the transition from the games. But thankfully, Gumshoe and Phoenix go and confirm in a particular way. Phoenix and Edgeworth go in a particular line in which they talk about their badges. They confirm that Gumshoe is alive. And when I saw that line, I actually breathed a sigh of relief, even if I haven't seen Gumshoe in years. And I can believe that Gregson is dead. Also, if you think about it, it's kind of weird because he's one of the characters in the Sherlock Holmes stories. Oh no, I'm gonna be taken down by the Holmes states.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
By which presumably you mean the gunshot?
I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this.
But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? That's a good point. Well, yeah, when they mention Francie, I love that part. I want Francisca to come. There's a lot of characters that I want to see all grown up. And just say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant enter the building?
Yes, right. It was almost straight away. And it went just like that.
Well, here's the Reaper, ain't it? It's what the French call a fait accompli.
What now?
When the Reaper's around, people are going into the ground. I mean, that's what he does, ain't it?
I think we get the message. The Reaper wouldn't allow the inspector to leave after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime.
Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive.
Great. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct?
It seems to me that quick to walk is quick to walk, because he couldn't wait to go and see what had happened.
So, when Gossip ran in to see what had happened, did you go too? Shan, that is hilarious. Yes, that would be fine, but let's be honest. Basically, everybody was just be playing as Phoenix dating Edgeworth. Or playing as Apollo dating Clavier. Or playing as... There's a lot of gay people in this fandom.
Well, may I have it, Percy? All this is that I can't move very well.
I mean,
You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand.
What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but, I mean, don't you remember Beppo? Is it possible that you and I have met before? Yeah! He remembers Beppo!
I'm not anybody, me. This is what made me who I am. I think therefore I am.
So, you were employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then?
I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Daigo.
Yes, I agree. He's living through a lot.
They're down King Henry Street, and the Black Widows. The worst arms is just there.
Oh dear, it made him hide behind his son.
Life is full of surprises.
I ran into the room, but there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
Hold it!
So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene? Is that right?
That I was, kicked the door open like a professional, I did, and yelled out, "What's going on here?"
Norman Six claimed all he heard was a man scream though.
And was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning up on the wall.
Whoa! Really?
And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
I see. Even though Lord Bansis claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall. Not gonna lie, he was convincing to thinking this, because the door opens the other way, and I mentioned it. Yeah. It's on the other side. Just how I said.
The next thing I noticed was someone standing over, right beside the body.
They accused Barockman 6.
That's right, the bed-faced Ripper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward.
But you're also a liar.
I stood my ground and gave the Ripper a cold, hard stare myself.
Whoa! Did I do it already? I'm gonna do it already.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? I'm just gonna call him Beppo. This sounds ridiculous.
There's truly nothing to be empty in the head. Again, just the slices with tomato.
So I don't know what you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remember something. Haven't heard Mr. Gossip with that statement, I mean. What I think is we're all nothings really. We're trying to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're just street sellers.
Yeah, Shen. This is gossip. This is rumors.
That's enough out of you, Sandwich. You kept your trap shut now, no? Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich.
Oh, when he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it.
Oh, you're a beggar. I told you to keep that a secret.
He screamed it. He screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. Mr. Gossip, is this true?
And the floor wasn't slippery, that's why. Planted my hand and I felt it full of blood, didn't I? Yuck!
What?
Okay, here's the contradiction, I guess. A pool of blood?
But listen to it. Even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold hard stare. I thought you forget.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand?
I did, I. Happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? So who cares? I slip over. We can keep it just between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the formation details at once.
You also notice, Kazuma? You also notice.
I slipped over and got blood on my hands, so I quickly
Wiped it off on the floor.
What?
Hold it!
You wiped your hand on the floor?
Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. And they might have thought I'd done it. Nada.
And you didn't think that might be a problem?
Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss! That's the message from all of us!
Kazuma, you're noticing it. Really now, Gossip? Yeah, I'm also thinking the same thing, Shen.
Is something wrong, Counsel? No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all.
Don't come at me with all that! You can't intimidate me! I know what I did! I wiped it off on the floor! On the block! On the floor, the block!
I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo? I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a better clue. While I know the contradiction, I want to keep pressing this one. I was so scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find the copper.
So you didn't run into the room with your friends?
I'm not that sort of girl.
Sorry?
I'm a timid little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there.
Oh, come on, Dahlia Hawthorne 0.0. Right. Wilbur Soot. I feel like that's a name that I should remember, but I cannot right now. I'm gonna have to look into that later, but I'm taking note of that because that sounds like an interesting bit of trivia, and in my notepad. Notepad. Yeah, because to be honest, I want to know more about this. Wilbur Soot. Got it.
Oh, Lippy, and the witch running there. And then I heard a sort of low lady scream.
Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd stake my honor on it.
It was Beppo.
I wonder what on earth was going on.
Which is when you went to find a policeman?
And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well?
Yes, but he knows that copper size nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper.
I've never felt more uncomfortable in all of my life.
Not even when you found McGill stabbing somebody in the car. Oh. Still, curiosity gets on me. I really need to know about this. I mean, I even know most of the story of Sonny Chu. And let's never bring that thing again.
And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe.
Considering the catalog of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end.
If I can find any holes in this testimony,
I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Mr. Arufalo.
The truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning.
Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, do there?
is that written correctly? Do there? Still, if Lord Ben 6 really is innocent, then I'm almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up.
You don't think that one of these three could be the true culprit, do you?
I don't know, but what I do know is that there's more to this case that has yet to be brought to light. Hey, there's. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. Okay. Yep. I wish there was a way to just jump to the incorrect one. Percent. Dream SMP. Yeah, I kinda know about that one. That it's a bit harder though to remember. I'm not that much into Minecraft, so that actually makes me confused. But whatever. Let's shout for the first time in all of these last 3 streams. Objection! Why did I choose the incorrect line? I did. Oh boy. Maybe I should just present the picture itself. Please tell me that I do not start doing it badly here. It's the first one!
Objection!
90% that itself is a contradiction. Oh boy. Oh god, that's embarrassing. Let's present it again. Let's just press. Wait, is there any way for me to go back in this version? Oh, maybe the right click? Oh, right click does... Oh, right click is B! Of course, right click is B! Yeah, it is. I feel embarrassed. The first time in quite a while and I don't remember anything. Oh boy, this is embarrassing. I know, it's... Sometimes you feel like you had the story correctly, but... I mean, this one seems obvious to me! But... there's something here.
Hold it!
Okay, so she says that she didn't run inside. Should I just repress? Okay, let's see.
Hold it!
Okay. This is very weird. I don't know where to go. Okay, so we're talking about the wig. And this is still a thing. Yeah, it has happened before, but at the very least it's not like in the first games where... In this game there have been times where when you can use more than one piece of evidence to find the contradiction. That was not the case in the first games, and it was very annoying. Eventually they fixed that a little bit. This one is actually taking me for a look right now. You can tell that this one was made with the old ideas of Shutakumi in mind. I'm gonna press this one. Okay, so we're talking about how they met each other before. So it's this. It's obviously this. But it's not this, is it? Okay, it's not one of... Wait a minute! I just remember something. I wonder... No, it can't be. It cannot be. No, it's not this. Could it be?
Objection!
No, it's not that. Oh my god! I don't want to go into elimination mode because this is embarrassing. This is not how I play this game. I'd really like to have the oh, wait a minute. I haven't checked this, have I? Don't tell me that I'm gonna have to check this one. And I didn't. There are details of the call of cases and this paper contains the codes, brand with age, of course, the most recent thing that appears to be this paper counting here. There's the same red-headed legal advertisement that Mr. Soames had picked out, and do you remember? There was a red hairpin at the scene too. Was Inspector Gretchen an opponent of the red-headed league then? I'm so embarrassed! I'm so embarrassed! Let's just check it out already.
Oh, what's this? Mr. Arujo, look!
I cannot believe that I didn't check for this. It's just that now I think about it, I don't remember at what point was the murder board added to the court record. That is so embarrassing.
Mr. Arujo, look!
Oh, yes, it is much of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. Okay, now I'm more confused.
And the color? That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing!
Thank you for not giving it away, Shen. I really needed to be humble for this one. I'm normally way too proud of myself in my Ace Attorney abilities, but that was extremely embarrassing, so...
Objection!
So you wipe off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Also, you're right. It was already a contradiction that the body was all the way over there, and the door was all the way over here. But, okay. So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room? Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else did you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigation. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asoki. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint and blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Oh, I don't have the sword, so the pose is different now.
Oh, yes, indeed. Indisputable, a handle on this victim color of blood.
Well, to be quite honest, that means that thing was on the floor when this happened.
Aye, you're that right. That is my right hand. I know it anywhere.
Yeah, of course you do.
Objection!
Oh, everybody needs to know their right hand. Oh, that's new. The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints at the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Objection! Not if the board itself have fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness handprint to have ended up in there. Just look at the floor plan on the room. Thank you, Chen. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body.
I fell over when I came across the body. I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. That's the point! There's a very definitive contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis.
So, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witnesses found on the handprint found at the scene, I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the victim's witness account and the location of the handprint is explained by the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the coward can see, it's upside down.
But gracious! So it is! If the witness has both his hand against the board, the fingers should be pointing upwards.
The only way that this could happen with this thing being like this is like doing this, and there's no reason to do that. That is just way too much to be accidental.
What does it tell us?
It tells us one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved.
What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then tell the court who.
I don't know that yet. But the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point.
And that would be...
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord.
So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
This side? Somewhere along around here?
Take that!
This is the only possible location!
Immediately adjacent to the doorway?
If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden away from view, and the light of the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. Is that what Band 6 couldn't see the body? I mean, if it goes down, he sees the gun on the floor, the door gets open forcefully, the notice board falls to the ground, the guy goes this way and sees the body and... and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. But the accused also claims that the victim body simply appeared before him. But that's the point. That's true. Or in his precise words.
Just as I picked the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
Because he knocked it over.
I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open.
If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. That's what I said!
That can't!
The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious!
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. That's a new damage animation. It looks very simple.
Order! Order! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. I cannot think who it was.
Witness, what have to say for yourself?
What? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stands will testify again. They will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Stop looking at me! Stop looking at your glasses! I get the message! I don't know anything about the notice board. I just got my hand on it, that's all!
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some certain years at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. Just if I stood there, me. Yes, a sign at the crossroads of life. that was the Reaper, I bet he's gonna face the NOTICEBOARD. What?
I can see how this changes. Anyway, the detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp with which to see, and expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right. Yeah, it don't pay too much to expect too much.
It's a man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you really?
In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Baroqueman 6! None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses by the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord!
Very well. Then you may proceed, counsel.
Okay, hold it. So you admit that it was a board you wiped your bloody hand on?
I admit it. What's to admit? It's there plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint, so you write on the notice board and push it into the corner, did you?
No, no, imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man?
I haven't actually stopped to think about that one. Well, did you see anybody else moving the board?
I got nerves of steel, I can tell. But even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. And the bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definitive testimony on that point.
Yes, so it would seem.
That's an ass. Sorry, but that's an ass. If she can turn on a match on that, damn girl.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Oops.
Yeah, what else? There's the private school just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have gonna about to blow their skull to kingdom come.
Oh boy.
So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to.
Wait, girl, you play both sides?
I just saw your comment, Sam.
Oh my god. Oh, you have?
Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys.
Let me guess. They confiscate them, they come back to you to buy more, right?
Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them,
Of course.
and then, praise the Lord again. The kids all come back to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
What a racket.
Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a PC of life, selling explosives.
And it's a colorful course indeed.
Hell, telling them first lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm never so good at it.
Did she just do that? Scary.
The important point is, you didn't go inside the room where the inspector was killed, isn't that right?
Definitely not.
Shit! Okay, I'm gonna read it so that this doesn't get lost in the YouTube video. Chan says, what a racket. More like, what a rack she has, Yonosuke. I'm sorry.
Definitely not. Wouldn't I have dreamed of it, would I?
Let's do what I do best.
Hold it!
It's after she throws the fireworks. There it is.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? Beppo?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that not be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus' statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts.
Eh?
Let's say there was a great liar. And the great liar said without battling an eye, live bare-faced like this, can't I think? I am never so good at it. Will those quotes, those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth in with Gish? She's not a liar. It's so smart as that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that, and I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That will give you something to tremble about.
I have a startled, disturbing man behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
She's an ancestor of Dahlia Hawthorne, this one. Wait, yeah, because it could be from the side of the family. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him too. That's right. That rotten liar over there.
Did you mean to say that you did in fact detect yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
What did I tell you, I said I was a good at telling bare-faced lie, didn't I?
Yes, you did mention it.
Well, that revelation wrecked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
You did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief!
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I clearly remember climbing the stairs of the room, yeah.
Didn't you clearly remember it or you don't?
Well, I shall consider an fairest punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, I will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord. Of course, my lord. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek at the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
Hold it! You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I think everything I say with just a big pinch of salt.
What an unreliable witness, I have to say. Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
She's just stressing me out. The truth, please.
Well, alright. Just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know.
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please! As if I would! I mean, there was a dead body on the floor!
The truth, please.
Oh, alright, just a bit then. And I had to look to see if there was anything I could sell.
Do you have the trunk?
So I did keep the place on once over, but it was nothing to write home about.
But no! I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please!
Oh my god, she already stresses me out!
Just a few bits of loose chances of my
The truth, please. She moved it.
Well, alright there. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flip the blasted thing.
She's stressing me out! You're telling me that you did move that board!
I think that it slipped out, didn't it?
What? You the bot!
I don't believe it! That girl doesn't think! So did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky in my imagination.
The truth now!
I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can be worth much if you ask. Ah!
Gina?
That was you, was it? You're the one who took it!
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there! There was a present to Inspector Gregson from the child! For a big case it's old 10 years ago! The Professor Case, no doubt. The boss used to wind up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swept it off when once, and blimey was I upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it.
Oh, Gina.
It meant the world to him. That watch there.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then.
It's not all that though. I think its job is that night to ask how much it was worth, but the whole dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it, said it wasn't working. Knocked about and world as he called it. Ah! I knew a job would lift it!
That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please. Just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done.
You're freaking nutcase!
Not a chance! I'll stop it from you if you try to get your rabbit mitts on it again.
That's enough! On the one shoulder to the belly, forthwith!
Now, you children, watch your manners. Or like I like to say, now, girls, you two are beautiful.
Good lord! That was appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't take any more either. Which is why Chavez didn't want it. What a waste! Aww.
Oh my god, why did I make that sound?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard then.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Okay, I learned my lesson from the last time. I'm gonna check that clock immediately. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look.
What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Shums could repair it, don't you?
Yes, I should think so.
He's better at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact.
But can't you remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Arturo? Not an odd man.
Uh-huh. Oh. There's a tiny little stop sticking out from the small hole here, look.
I suppose there must have been that little knob or something on that for setting the time.
Hey, where's the knob?
Wait, is that broken?
It looks broken. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such care of this watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene. Maybe. What is this? There's a tiny little keyhole here, can you see?
Oh yes, that's probably for the winder.
Used to wind up the mechanism. Looks like a little initial, don't you think? That looks like a key.
Yes, you'd need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something? A bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole.
It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found.
Where was the clicking sound? There it is. The helmet was... okay. Okay, we already did this, so I didn't need to read this because it was last case.
Oh, what's that? It appears to be some sort of key.
But it's tiny though, it couldn't be key for a door, not of that size. So what is it for, I wonder?
Oh!
Oops. I clicked away because I'm not used to the mouse controllers. Blah 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 blah. There it is. And it's actually the same shape.
Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key
could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch?
Oh, yes it could be.
Let's try it at once, there's not a moment to lose. Can't you believe that all of this is happening in the middle of another testimony entirely? Sometimes this game has a little bit of a bad habit of making you check all of your evidence in the middle of stuff. And it's weird.
I knew it, a perfect fit. And look! The inspector's watch has started going on again.
So it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have found profound implications.
I just realized something. This clock was stopped at 5. And everybody thinks that it's because it broke on the gunshot. But if this clock can be just manually get stopped, there's nothing that indicates that this could have been happening at 5 instead of just being used with the firecrackers.
She's even thought now.
Perhaps I better start thinking deeply though. Okay. Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case.
Now there, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel.
I don't know about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign of the cosmos of life.
I'm just so used to my old computer that I keep checking that I'm not dropping frames. But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
Christmas Spirit is my whole world. It's all I know. I know all of it.
have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high. So you did go to see what had happened? It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it?
Did you notice the notice board in the room?
Hey, if you think about it, we're both the same species. Aren't we? Both different members of the sun.
Oh my god! Just tell me already!
So if I had spotted it, I might have tried to trip it out of a sense of rebellion.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens.
Does that mean you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. It's just a sign of the darkness of life.
In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board?
We already know that one, but I guess it's because I went in another direction.
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that?
Come on now, don't tell us what you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards. They're not the one. They're the ones think he likes. You can see that he likes.
I can't say that I ever noticed.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second.
Sorry?
Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a feeling like that might do if you look away, do you?
If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board.
Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort, I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he'd kept that thing upright again and dragged it into the corner.
Right. Glad we've cleared that up.
What happened to the face that screams board?
I felt your pain, Kazuma.
I can see how this changes anything anyway. I can still die when we heard the gunshot.
I have a feeling that this is not a confession, so I have to press this one first. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the notice board fell over. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is in their way because the gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too.
My fate?
That's right. The defense is fated to lose. The prosecution to win.
In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. If I could just find some problem with that part of their story, it may be possible to change all our fates.
Of course, I never know the chances the fact that I heard what I heard. It doesn't.
Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question of when the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right, and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been delivered the position so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I will not doubt that there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. Okay, so... Oh god, I don't feel confident about this one. I really don't feel confident about this one.
Objection!
Oh god, thank god! Whew. I'm afraid that was necessarily the case.
Oh!
At the scene, we found this key to the window of the inspector's pocket watch.
A key?
And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built.
What?
Order! Order! Order!
But Council? The watch could have stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard the gunshot.
It is exactly the hour.
The time that was shown on the watch tells us nothing other than when it went down. It is merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection! No, that doesn't hold.
Why not?
Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago.
The boss used to wind it up every evening with a fit when he was waiting for his scrub to come at the pub. That he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing and winding it. That meant the world to him, that watch there.
Essentially what she's saying is that the clock wouldn't have stopped. The victim was in the habit of... How long ago was he dead? Because the only way that this could happen is if it was at least 12 hours before. Because at that point, we would have been able to know that the clock has stopped. And then we would have been able to wait until the 5 o'clock hit again. Throw the firecracker. But that means one thing. Gregson might have been dead or over more than 12 hours ago. And right now... What? When is this case taking place? If it's in the middle of winter, it makes sense that the time of death is not affected. But I don't remember when this case was made. I know that it was at the start of the case, but I don't remember. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Well, how do you explain it to me?
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot round into the room, the inspector was unable to wind his watch. Sorry.
You can't mean.
What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single event, even for 10 years? Thank you, Astrodude. And yes, that is exactly what I was thinking. That means London is known in this game for being extremely cold. So we know that we're not talking about forensics to determine when the body was killed. But we might as well think that the body might not have started to decomposing yet. What would stop a man from winding his watch if he's been in the habit of, hey, by the way, I haven't seen you before. Nice to see you. I'm just realizing that yours is a name that I don't see often. Thank you for being here. I hope that you're enjoying this. What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead.
Order! Order! Counsel, that is the most extraordinary claim!
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? Oh my god.
On that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted.
That's right. Whoops.
Wait a minute. You're forgetting that that was...
Okay, is that true? I didn't notice that part. It's so weird to see this like this. Good eye, Susato.
Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood.
Oh. I see what you're bringing in. Even if the body was there for a long time, that blood was fresh. Could it be that blood was planted? That is very difficult to think of.
Like I said, I put my hand in a dirty great bottle of blood.
Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh.
He catches on fast, doesn't he?
That looks like a sec. That looks like a freaking reference to the Looney Tunes.
Objection!
But the blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after he...
Does my learned friend think that flush blood...
You're not using Learn Fred. Oh my god, you're not using Learn Fred.
The fresh blood is available in every street corner?
Well, it mightn't necessarily have been human blood, of course.
Whoa, Susato went there!
We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example?
It's certainly the possibility that it wasn't the Spectre blood at all.
I haven't stopped to think about it. I mean, I forgot that they actually had a coroner, but I was right in the fact that forensics was not a suspense.
But the gunshot was here at 5 o'clock that afternoon! That's beyond question!
Is it though?
What?
Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses here wasn't a gunshot at all.
Oh, please! What are you trying to say?
Thank you for the little clue, but I already knew, Geralt.
Us lot know what we heard, and it was a loud bang that came from the that room.
Now you listen to me! A street seller seems like he sold his livelihood!
Oh, you're weak, Beppo. I don't doubt your ears, sir. For all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Eh?
Explain yourself then, counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot. Having made with... wait.
Take that!
Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious! The very fireworks that are sold by the witness?
Now hold on a minute. What are you saying? I did it? My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See?
Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sound like this. Oh god, I didn't expect that. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. He would need to be an ancestor to the whole Von Karma family. I sure don't think so. No, I don't think so. But that is a good way of putting it. I mean, there's a lot of characters here that use a whip. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact.
You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks at the scene?
I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day, and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers in Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barockman 6.
That makes sense to me. Beppo would do that. Also, I'm pretty sure that he was fired. Dear lord.
One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See? It's why people like him.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
I was actually thinking the same.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a, time bomb.
Really?
Good heavens, a bomb!
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, wherever you like.
Mr. Arujudo, I worry that your importunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
No, wait. It's a whenever you like part that's important.
A time device.
Yes, exactly. A time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device was employed to create a gunshot sound?
Okay, it's nothing here. I can only think of the clock. I'm not sure if this is a good thing.
Take that!
You're suggesting that this could have been used as some sort of time delay device?
I think so, my lord, but it's becoming increasingly clear. I thought that I was right. Clear that we belong very misguided here.
Objection!
Yes, by you. What?
No, counsel. The time has come for a penalty, without delay.
No clear time to clear the area before the blast.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to say?
Okay. Have I actually checked everything here? This murder board looks great, to be quite honest. Okay, it's not this. I wonder.
Take that!
I got it! As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in the candelabrum has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
What I'm thinking is, why only some of these candles were light up? And it may be that one of those was actually the trigger. I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible? Why? Because of the scorching. Okay. I was right and wrong at the same time. I said at the start that the only way for that thing to have been blown up with scorching is if Gregson was right next to the candle. But I guess it would be too much to expect for that thing to go all the way through Gregson, then go to the candle and still have scorch marks. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
There are? Goodness, yes! But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Really? Because the only way that I'm thinking about that is that I didn't know how much it has to be.
Oh!
Which means that the scorching on the candle can possibly be the result of a gunshot.
You're suggesting it came from the fireworks?
How can that be?
The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at a point partway through down the candle after the killer had left the scene. The candle slowly burned down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecracker, generating a loud bang! This is so out there, but I love it. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd hear a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot! And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we'd been led to believe. The previous day, even.
No, not just holding your horses! All us lot first here saw the victim going into the building, remember?
I couldn't forget that flame color hair even if I wanted to.
The person you saw enter the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. I was going to present the one thing that I have in my head correctly. Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely, wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Did you mean to say?
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Kazuma, what the heck?
Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired.
Whoa! You're saying this in the court?
Order! Prosecutor Aosugi! What on earth did you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today.
This is why you came here! I cannot believe it!
So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked.
So if the firecrackers were tied to one candle, wouldn't the other two have been slightly blown up as well, right? Based on how close they are together on the candle thingy, surely they'd also be blown up as well, like the first candle of some manner too, right? Yes, but I think that the idea is that we have actually blown up those here, and they don't actually hurt the hands of the people using it. So I imagine that they broke the candle that was lit up, and the other ones kept being lit up and kept going down. Like, they only broke the ones that they were tied to. Then again, I also found it weird that the other ones are still... The one next to it at least should have been broken at the very least. Like, you know what I would imagine is to be like 1, 2, and then the last one down. That's what I think, just like you say, Shan.
The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
There's one person that could know, but only because she's relatively new to all of this.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing, wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating. Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believe it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggested of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
I'm in danger, but I'm pursuing this.
Take that!
I can say that.
Oh, I want to see what they said.
Another person is already around, that's much of it.
What? Congratulations, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You deserve a reward for that expert display.
I got a game over?
That will do.
Oops. Okay, that is actually cool.
I believe I have heard quite enough evidence to form an unbiased opinion, as this is a close trial. The findings of the court will not be disclosed to the public. However, this will be the very last time that represents in this or any other courtroom.
Wait!
Paragraph 6. In accordance with the findings of this court, I pronounce you guilty. That is all. The court is adjourned.
I kinda low-key wanna die. Yeah, but I have some kind of sense of pride, girl. That's all. Okay. Let's say it was this one.
Take that!
It was my other choice, to be quite honest. If I hadn't died so many times to that freaking board, I would have at least some energy left. I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. I might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not! Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that is quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd, except that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League? So, you'd already worked it out. What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary League of Gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, Counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord! The defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once!
2 redheads?
Are these the guys that were arrested that were apprehended by Mr. Sholmes? Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot allow in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asogi.
At once, my lord.
Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
If this is like to be continued, this is a good time for me to stop. It is a to be continued! So this was actually very fun. I cannot believe that I lost like that. But that looks like a good stopping point, like I say. And this is getting deep. Because I actually don't know the story of the Red-Headed League from the Holmes series. But I know that it's important. I know that it's famous. We'll figure it next time. Thank you for coming. To be quite honest, it's nice to know that I still have people that come watch me. It's actually very nice. I'm very happy about that one. Oops. So I hope that I see you next time. As you know, I don't have a good schedule and the like, but thank you for coming. Especially you, Shen, that are having for a long time coming here. And for now, we're gonna call it a night. See you later. And I will upload this to my YouTube channel later. But for now, take that, and I hope you enjoy the show, just like my outro image says. And that's it. Bye.